My neighbor messaged me, telling me to keep my windows closed when I'm busy. Their kids are still young. It took me a while to understand what he meant. My heart sank. I've been away on a business trip these past few days. Only my wife has been at home. Back at the hotel, I tried to calm myself down. Could my wife be? The more I thought about it, the worse scenarios I imagined. Impossible. Sarah and I have only been married for 2 years. I've always treated her well. I haven't let her work since we got married. I transfer $2,000 to her card every month for living expenses without fail. I opened our WhatsApp chat. The last messages were us saying goodnight to each other yesterday. I wanted to say something but didn't know how to start. I clutched my phone tightly for a while, thinking. Then I opened a food delivery app, changed the delivery address to our home, and ordered a meal. After a driver accepted the order, I immediately called him. I told the driver to say he delivered to the wrong address when he arrived. Then I asked if he could check how many people were in the house, and if possible, secretly take a photo. The driver refused at first, but when I offered to pay him $200 and let him keep the food, he agreed readily. I added the driver on WhatsApp and promptly transferred him $200. About half an hour later, the driver sent me a photo taken from an odd angle. The photo was blurry, but I could still make out that it was my house. I looked closely and could definitely recognize my wife Sarah. There was a strange man standing next to her, but I couldn't see his face clearly. Even though I had mentally prepared myself, seeing the photo still made my blood run cold. In the photo, the man was wearing the blue pajamas Sarah had bought for me. I sat on the hotel sofa, my whole body shaking. Sarah and I met through a mutual friend. Mainly because my family was pressuring me to get married, and Sarah seemed like a good match overall. I already had a house and a car. Her family was satisfied with me too. So we got married pretty quickly. After the wedding, I didn't let her continue working. I own a company myself, so I could easily support our family on my own. Thinking about how I paid $188,000 in bride price to marry her, only for her to use my money to betray me in the house I bought for $10,000 per square meter, made me shake with anger. The most important thing now was to find out who this man was and when their affair started. After calming down, I sent Sarah a WhatsApp message. I told her I had some unexpected meetings here and would be away for a few more days. The goal was to make her let her guard down. Then I immediately booked a flight back. When I returned, I went straight to my childhood friend Mark's place. Mark is a rich playboy who only knows how to eat, drink and have fun all day. He never works. After returning from studying abroad, he never cared about his family's business. His dad lectured him once, which sparked his entrepreneurial spirit. As a result, he lost several $1 million in just 6 months. I can't help but suspect he did it on purpose. Since then, his family never mentioned work to him again. They just give him money on schedule to let him live extravagantly. When I found Mark, he was sunbathing on his large balcony. I didn't tell him why I came. I just asked to stay at his place for a few days. We've been close since childhood, so he never questions what I do. After dropping off my things, I secretly took a taxi back to my neighborhood. I didn't go upstairs. I went to the underground parking lot first. I checked the dash cams in each of my cars one by one. Sure enough, I found something suspicious in one of the cars. Their conversation made my blood boil again when I heard it. The two of them were flirting in my car. I never imagined the Sarah who acted cute and innocent in front of me could be so flirtatious with another man. I didn't have time to be angry. I quickly made a copy of the footage. Then I went to the security room of the complex. Old Lee in the security room knows me well. As soon as I walked in, I saw Old Lee dozing off inside. Sleeping on the job, eh, Old Lee? I teased. He smiled and wiped the drool from the corner of his mouth. Ha ha, the construction site next to my house was too noisy last night. Didn't sleep well. What brings you here, Mr. Johnson? Don't usually see you in this little place. I took out a pack of cigarettes and handed it to him. I found a scratch on my car today, but I'm not sure when it happened. I wanted to check the footage to see which day it got scratched so I can file an insurance claim. He exchanged pleasantries with me before accepting the cigarettes. Alright, take your time looking. I'll go have a smoke to wake myself up. I quickly scanned through the footage. Sure enough, on the evening I left for my business trip, that man clearly entered my home. The security camera captured his face clearly this time. While Old Lee was still away, I quickly took some photos with my phone and left. Back at Mark's place, he had gone out. I sat on the balcony, trying to recall the man's face from my phone. After a while, I was certain I had never seen him before. If I had met him before, I would definitely remember. But this face was completely unfamiliar. After smoking half a pack of cigarettes on the balcony, I took out my phone and made a reservation at a restaurant. Then I sent Sarah a WhatsApp message telling her I found a great restaurant while on my business trip. I wanted her to try it, so I made a reservation for 2 people. I told her she could bring a friend to check it out. Sarah quickly replied with a cute emoji, saying, "Thank you, honey. I used to find it adorable. Now I just felt disgusted." As the time approached, I went to the restaurant first and found a seat in the corner. Soon after, Sarah arrived with her boyfriend. They walked in holding hands, like a couple in love. At that moment, I felt like a clown, hiding in the corner afraid to make a sound. During the meal, they took sweet photos together and fed each other food. After taking some clear photos, I slunk out through the side door. The photos I had now were enough to kick her out of my house. But reason told me I couldn't handle this so simply. Now you can watch the second part by pressing share and more.